Welcome back to Stick 'em Up Podcast. Brundi, we are here with episode 200. 200 of these bad boys we've pumped out, and I know you had something pretty quick off the top here that you wanted to bring up or do, but we're already at 200, which is kind of crazy. At the same time, it feels like we've been doing this forever, and feels like we just started. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I guess I'll throw it to you. You got it written in here that you had something to kick off the episode right after the intro, so the floor is yours.
Yeah, and like you said, feels like we've been doing it for a while, but also not. And I think that's because a lot of the changes we've kind of been doing over the last bit, especially kind of the biggest one being the YouTube. Obviously, that's been doing quite well, and so I think that's kind of why it feels a little bit like we started recently. But yeah, 200 and still rolling on, and I thought it was fitting. Where we're at here that I can finally say it in the 200th episode, but for the first time since March of 2022, the San Jose Sharks are at 500. Haven't been able to
They've
say
done
that
it.
once since we've actually started the podcast. We've never
That's
been able
crazy.
to say that, even that the Sharks have a 500 record, which
Sorry.
means
When was the last time? Do you say?
March of 2022.
It's crazy that it was March of that year.
Yeah.
Like if 2022 is the last time, sure. It's crazy that it was in March of that year. Like you would have
Yeah.
thought that it would have been in, November, December of that year, and then they fall off and they start to sell off those guys. So
Yeah.
it's interesting that they were 500 at that point, but
They,
yeah,
they,
I
they
mean, we
finished quite a bit below 500 by the end of the year, but they,
sure.
they still were at 500 at that time, and never once been able to say that on this podcast, which means even at the start of the regular seasons, uh, they don't win their first game, even though they probably should have the last 2 years. They don't even win the second game. They go on those big losing streaks at the start of the year, and they can't
Yeah, you were saying that
can't crawl back.
it's especially impressive that they're 500 now because did they end up hitting that? I know near the start of the season we were talking about there was like the betting odds were like over under like 6.5 games played before they get their first win.
I think
And
they just barely missed.
I
I
think
think they won on their
like on their six. Like I think it was one before they would have
yeah.
passed it.
They actually might have lost their first six. Now that I think about it, I can
Like
quickly check, but I'm actually
that's
pretty sure
crazy
that they
that they're
did.
already back up to 500 after having that slow start that they've been
Two,
having
three,
in the
four,
last few years. So
five. They did. They lost their first six,
I believe it
and
was
now they're
over
up
under
to
6.5 or 7. So
yeah. I think it was 6.5.
pay out to the believers on that one, I guess.
Yeah. So just wanted to throw that in there, and
100%.
we got a little bit more we can talk about the Sharks later on, specifically just one of their younger players. But it is the 200th episode here, and I thought we might as well start this off fun. Start off with a banger. Start off with something that everybody loves. Braden, I know you weren't prepared for this, but we're gonna run it right off the rip. I'm gonna be hitting you with one of your favorites and one of everybody's favorites, a two real, two fake, to
Oh,
kick off
shit.
the episode here.
Okay.
If it is your first time come by the podcast, whether that's through any of our platforms or through the YouTube, pretty simple. I have two players here. Two of them are real, actual people and players, and two are completely fake and don't exist at all. I've got a little bio for each of them, and it's just up to you at home and up to Brain to determine who is real and who is fake. Braden, are you ready?
I am ready. This is one of the ones where I feel like there's some of the games where I don't do that well in, or I'm kind of middling. Like sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. This is definitely my strongest one, but I
Yeah.
do think where I'm improving a lot in those other ones, I think as you running the game are actually improving a lot on this one. Like I feel like as we keep going, the the guys' names, random little details about their careers, I feel like they're the fake ones are becoming much more convincing as we go on, and these are
I would like
getting
to think
harder.
so.
So, and I
I would like to
believe
think
that,
so.
and obviously each time we do this, there are two real players. I believe there's only been one player
That
that
you
I
actually
that I 100%
recognized.
knew was real. The
Yeah.
rest of them were, yeah, either guessing based on it or a hunch, really.
Yeah. Well,
But
maybe we'll see what happens today here.
I am
Um,
ready.
all right, so we can start off with our first player, and to start off, we have Rico Fata, a Canadian winger who was drafted 6th overall by the Calgary Flames in the 1998 NHL draft, often referred to as the Speed Demon when in Calgary due to his quick skating. I believe at one point he's had the record in their training camp for fastest time. However, his speed wasn't enough as the Flames put him on waivers after just 27 games across 3 seasons where the Rangers claimed him. He bounced around between a couple of teams before leaving the NHL in 2006 to continue playing hockey overseas, where he eventually retired in 2014.
Okay. And when did you say he was playing with the Flames?
He was drafted in 1998, and I believe it was the following year he skated in his first game.
Okay.
Next up, we have Tyson Mercer, a Canadian center who drafted 114th overall by the Boston Bruins in the 2002 NHL draft. Mercer was called a lifelong Bruin despite only appearing in 37 NHL games where he logged 2 goals and 3 assists. However, the reason he's called a lifelong Bruin, he played just shy of 900 games for the Providence Bruins in the AHL, where he recorded 644 points. Mercer, the lifelong Bruin, currently now serves as an amateur scout for the Boston Bruins.
Okay.
That is Tyson Mercer.
Tyson Mercer. Great name.
Next, the third player we got here is Kamil Krebs, a Czech center drafted 38th overall by the Florida Panthers in the 2003 NHL draft. Krebs was once called the next big Czech steal after scoring the OT winner in his first preseason game. However, it didn't quite pan out that way, as he only played 232 NHL games with the Panthers before leaving to go play in the Finnish Liga League in 2010. That is Kamil Krebs.
Okay.
Got that one. And the final player we have here is Nikita Volkov, a Russian winger drafted 56 overall by the New York Rangers in the 2011 NHL draft. After a strong World Juniors and draft year +1, Volkov looked poised to be given a big opportunity in the NHL with the Rangers. However, didn't quite work out that way as he was traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets as part of the deal that sent Rick Nash to the Big Apple. Volkov spent his first season with the Columbus Blue Jackets up and down between the NHL and AHL before returning back to Russia after just 1 season. That is Nikita Volkov, the Russian winger.
Okay. So we got Rico Fata, Tyson Mercer, Kamil Krebs, and Nikita Volkov.
Correct. Those are
Two
your
are
four
real and two
players.
are fake. It's I don't have a ton to work with here. Those all sound very plausible. There was nothing that sounded more real or more fake. I am always very interested on the psychology of that last guy, Nikita Volkov. You said he was involved in the Rick Nash trade. That's a big trade. Like there is, spoilers, I don't know who was in that trade. But, there is always that chance that it's a big enough trade. I do know who's in there. And then that would like guarantee me either getting it or not getting it. Um, so it's kind of a like, you put him in a very specific trade. So does that mean he's real and in there? Or is he fake and you just kind of slid him in there as, he
Ye-
wasn't a huge name. So he was just thrown in with this all-star trade.
Yeah.
I I'm gonna lock in Tyson Mercer being real. Something I can just picture. I could picture Mercer on a Bruins jersey. Uh, that something about that just
Just
feels
feels right.
incredibly vaguely familiar. I'm not going to pretend to know who's the all-time games played leader for the Providence Bruins or anything, but that seems more real than the other three.
Okay.
I'm going to lock in fake for Camille Krebs. Uh, just see, I've never heard the name before. I don't know. You said he's Czech. I don't know how Czech the name Camille is. I think Krebs is, but again, don't have a ton to go on. And the fact that the other two do seem a bit more real, so I'm not sure which to pick there.
Okay.
I I feel like Rico Fata seems more real, and I want to pick it, but I know you, and I know that you know that I know. We had an Alexander Volkov on the Lightning a couple of years ago, mainly when we won the 2020 uh, Stanley Cup. And so I have a feeling that you would think that I am going to think Nikita Volkov is a made up name. I think you found this guy's name out there and you were like, he's going to think I made that up for sure. So I'm going to try and reverse psychology it. I think it is real. I think he was in the Rick Nash trade. Nikita Volkov, real. Rico Fata, fake. Did any of what I said just make sense?
Yes, yes, okay. Um, so just run it back for me one more time. Who you've
Okay.
got is the
Rico Fata, I have as fake, and Camille Krebs, I have as fake. And I'm saying that Tyson Mercer and Nikita Volkov are real. I think Nikita Volkov comes off as a name that you could have made up, but I don't think you did. I think you found it and went, that sounds fake. I'm going to trip him up.
okay. I'm just gonna look up some here quickly. Um, Off the top of your head, actually, do you know the name of who the assistant GM is for the Tampa Bay Lightning?
The assistant GM currently, not off the top of my head.
Jeff Tambellini. Would you recognize that?
I actually don't think so. No, I
Okay.
definitely expected to recognize the name you would have said, but no.
Because Jeff Tambellini, I did up a whole thing as one of the real players, and then I looked. I'm like, oh fuck, he's the assistant GM for the Lightning. I'm like, well, I can't do this one now, so
Yeah,
I had to scrap him. So I just wanted to see, but hey, maybe I would have
you know what?
snuck one out of there.
Especially if at that would have been a crazy one because at the end, if you would have added, he now serves as assistant GM for the Lightning. That would have shook my brain because I actually
Shit, maybe I should have then.
it's so vaguely familiar, but I mean, so are like 1,000 names in the NHL.
That is
Like
true. Yeah.
I could I'd be like, maybe he is our assistant GM, or maybe it's a fourth line guy that I traded for in a franchise mode when I was 15. Like
Yeah. True.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if I would have got that.
Okay, so we've blue balled everybody enough here now. So you have Rico Fata as fake, Camille Krebs as fake, Tyson Mercer real, and Nikita Volkov real.
Yes.
Final answer, locking it in?
Locking it in.
Locking it in and no going back.
No going
So
back.
Tyson Mercer, you said was real. The lifelong Bruin is fake. He is
He
not.
is fake.
He is not real whatsoever.
I was pretty confident on that one. I definitely thought that was like the one out of the four I was most likely for.
I'd say you're pretty confident in it, so I was trying not to get too giddy that I tricked you on it.
Yeah.
Um, Next you have Camille Krebs. You thought he was fake, the big Czech center. He is real.
He's
He's
real.
a real player. He is indeed. Who do we got next here? Nikita Volkov, the Russian winger who's part of the Rick Nash deal. You thought he was real. He is fake.
He was also fake. I got it. I
He is
went
also
over 4. I
fake.
got it completely wrong. I don't think I've ever
Yeah,
gotten. I don't think I've ever gotten swept on this one.
you've never gotten swept on before. And then obviously that means that Rico Fata, the Canadian winger drafted by the Calgary Flames, the
Yeah,
speed demon, you thought he was fake. He is indeed real.
yeah. That one was kind of by process of elimination. He felt real. I really thought that. I thought somewhere along the line you were looking at a trade tree and saw the name Nikita Volkov, and it looks like something you could come up with. So I
Mm.
figured because of that, you would have picked it as a real one.
I can't remember. I can't remember which of the two names I switched on Volkov, because I always come up with like these fake names, and then I got to look up the name of the just to make sure that it's not like a an
Oh,
actual player or something. Because I
an
just come
actual
up with
player
them,
somewhere else.
and then I came up with this name. I looked it up, and it came up with something up like Russian mobster or something. So I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna use that name. I'm just gonna switch it. So I don't start throwing that name out there. So
No, fair enough.
I ended up changing it. I can't remember what I I might have changed the whole name actually. But I had a different name for him, and then I changed it once I was like, you know what? I'm
Yeah,
just gonna stay clear of this name and not throw that out there. And
not call out one of Bert Kreischer's boys in Russia.
yeah, I'm gonna stay safe over here.
Yeah, yeah,
But
good call.
that was a another edition of Too Real, Too Fake.
That
You're
was
right.
good.
I'm
I got
getting better at
rinsed.
it.
I got
I'm getting
rinsed, man.
better. Um, we got a couple more fun things at the end of the episode here, but the big stuff. We got some news around the league that we can discuss. Do you want to kick us off with the NHL's 3 stars of the week for this past week?
Yeah. Holy shit, these guys went off. My God. So the 3 stars of the week. This is the NHL's official 3 stars of the week. Number 1, Nathan McKinnon. Number 2, Connor Bedard, and number 3, Leo Carlson. All of these guys absolutely went off. They've been ridiculous. Like, I'm not
So
sure if you have their
McKinnon,
stats here, but
yeah, yeah. So McKinnon,
absurd.
3 games played, 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points. That's
Over
pretty.
3 points a game and over a goal per game. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a small sample size, obviously, but in those games, he ran everyone's shit.
yeah. Connor Bedard, second star of the week, 4 games played, 3 goals, 7 assists for 10 points. So same amount of points as McKinnon, just one more game played. And Leo Carlson, third star of the week, 4 games played, 5 goals, 4 assists for 9 points. So over a goal per game as well.
Dude, the kids
Pretty
are
damn good
here,
week by
man.
these guys. Yeah, they've arrived. They're doing it, and I mean, yeah, just the the numbers these guys are putting up, the way that they're controlling the play, kind of driving the game when they're out there,
It's just
is awesome, and
ridiculous.
it's just continuing to look better, and it's good for Leo Carlson especially. Obviously McKinnon's McKinnon, Bedard. People are
I've
hot
been
and cold on
expecting at
him,
some
but
point.
everybody knows how good he was, and that eventually it was gonna start showing more on the score sheet. And it is Leo Carlson. I'm really happy for him, because I feel like even going into this year, it was still kind of a narrative when talking about the Ducks of like, Leo Carlson's good, but imagine if they had Adam Fantilli. Imagine if they grabbed Michkov. All these other players that they could have, even Will Smith after last year. Some people are like, could
Yeah.
have gone with him, because Leo Carlson was good in his draft year, but it was kind of a shock when he went too. But
And I'm so glad you
Anaheim's kind
brought
of
that
made
up
a Anaheim's made a
because
history of doing that. That's kind of their
yeah,
thing that they've done, is taken the
they take the risk
maybe
on
the
the guy
odd
their scouts
choice.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't go on the consensus pick at all. And I'm so glad you brought that up because I've been seeing all over the internet, especially over the past, 2, 3 weeks when Anaheim's really taken off and Carlson has. I've seen so many people being like saying that uh it wasn't a reach. Like they everyone knew that it was going to happen, and everyone was like saying how uh it he was the consensus number 2, and that he would have gone first overall most years if he wasn't getting picked behind Bedard. And it's like, I mean, if you want to argue he's a first overall player, I'll absolutely hear it. But no, everyone had Fantilli slated to go second overall. And the Ducks shocked people by taking Carlson. So,
And if it was also if they weren't going to take Fantilli, it was, oh, they're just going to take a swing on Michkov and hope he wants
yeah.
to go to Anaheim.
Yeah.
Like it was surprising when they went with Leo Carlson, and it's showing here why they went the way they did. They knew what they were going to be getting in him, and I mean it's on full display.
Yeah.
This season.
And other huge swing they took, Beckett Seneca. Like he
yeah.
He was
Did
supposed
you
to go
see
what,
that?
9, 10, 11, something like that, and they took him third. Like
Yeah,
that
so
was a
he was
huge
kind of
reach.
the one up and down, kind of all over the place. No one knew where he was going to go. Kind of like Brady Martin this past year, where just
Right.
didn't know. But then I was actually seeing something end of last week. It might have been just after we finished recording at the end of last week, because the Blue Jackets were picking fourth that year, and the Ducks took Seneca at 3. The Blue Jackets were going to take Seneca at 4.
Oh,
They already had there's pictures
okay.
there. They had a Seneca jersey already done up because they were like, we're already kind of taking a reach on him. No one's going to take him in the top 3. And then sure enough, Anaheim did. And, that's who Columbus was planning
Columbus has got
on taking.
Columbus has got to be pretty sick of Anaheim taking these incredible players right in front of them. Like I don't think they're
Yeah.
too
I mean,
disappointed in the players they got, but
Fantilli's still going to be good, obviously off to a rough start, but
still a kid.
Columbus is,
Who did
not
Columbus
quite in the
take?
same spot as Anaheim as well.
Who'd they take after Seneca? Was that Lidstrom?
Aiden Lindstrom, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
It's so too bad that he's been so injury plagued because
it's the back injury that
yeah, because
is tough.
he looked to be such an incredible player. I really hope he can still find his health and put together a solid career because
Yeah.
he looked like a player that would just be so fun to watch. I really hope he can make it.
The potential is definitely still there, and I think it's still going to work out. But yeah, obviously probably pretty tough still for Columbus though, seeing the early on success that
Yeah,
Anaheim's getting from all these guys. Um, we're already kind of talking about these guys a bit. I think we might as well just jump into the next point we got here. Connor Bedard, Leo Carlson, and Macklin Celebrini, all 3 of them are in the top 5 in NHL scoring leaders so far this season. What are your thoughts on all these kids? Even outside these guys, you look at what
the Cutter Gauthier,
Will Smith's doing, Cutter
Will
Gauthier, even
Smith.
Beckett Seneca, um, Frank Nazar up until the injury at the end of this past week. Like a lot of these young players that we've been seeing come up through the drafts in the past couple years are all really kind of making their mark on this season and really creating this next generation of players that are coming up.
This might be right now the most exciting NHL we've ever had. It's 100%, and frankly, I won't hear an argument against this being the most talented that it's ever been. I don't remember, certainly not since I've been watching hockey. I don't remember having 3 distinct and elite generations in the league. Like you still have,
Yeah.
Crosby still looks like he's going to put up 90 points, apparently like 45 goals or something this year as well. He keeps burying them,
Ovi would have been a
Ovi's
50-goal scorer last year if he didn't get injured.
yeah, and he still looks pretty good this year. I saw a stat the other day that Ovechkin is the only NHL regular this season to not be involved in a single face-off in the defensive zone. I thought that was funny.
Really?
Not a single one. It's just, and you know what? They don't need to. They got guys for that
Yeah,
on the roster. So,
yeah,
uh, but you got all those older guys that are still playing at a pretty elite level. You obviously got you know Kucherov, McKinnon, McDavid, people in that era. They've been around for a decade plus for some of them, and they've been running the award show for years now. And then you have Carlson, Bedard, Celebrini, these young kids who are all 22 or younger, and they're lighting it up. Like we have these three distinct generations that are all playing at a top level, and
yeah.
I've never seen that before, and it's really fun to watch. It's really cool.
Yeah, I can't add too much more into that. I completely agree with you. The one thing I will say that it's pretty interesting. Um, Bedard and Carlson both without extensions yet on the last year of their entry level deals. So, the way these guys are going, the way they're kind of putting their teams on their back, and both teams have crawled out from the basement of the league, especially Anaheim. I mean, second overall in the league right now. These guys are
Overall,
going to get paid. These
Jesus
guys are going to get
Christ.
paid. Yeah, I think a big part with Anaheim as well, with how good their talent is and how well their scouting has been and knowing who they should go after. A big part is Joe Quenneville. People weren't happy he was back in the league, but there's no denying what he's done for this team, where he's gotten them to, and you know now it makes you wonder with all these young guys that are up there. Obviously, Celebrini can't sign until July 1st, and I'm assuming that one will happen right on July 1st. But for Bedard and Carlson, the way they're playing right now, they're, they're almost starting to enter into blank check territory
They're
with the
closing in
level
on
they're
it, and
on.
frankly, I think Bedard probably is already. Just the fact, like it wouldn't have taken a ton for him to be there because they knew his talent, and if he doesn't pan out, it doesn't matter what you're paying him. The team's going through a 10-year rebuild, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't got much. So that was kind of foregone conclusion. But Carlson, didn't he turn down an 8-year like big money extension this year?
I can't remember. I vaguely kind of remember that, but then I just think, well, that
Like
was
I feel like
Logan
he turned
Cooley,
down
so I can't remember if it was
I think he
Carlson
turned
or
down
not.
like 90 mil or something. Like let's see if
And
quick Google
it's a little
search.
bit easier for Chicago, and it's also kind of a backhanded slap at Chicago. But Chicago doesn't really, at least from what we can see right now, have the riches that Anaheim has in terms of young, established, top players, right? Because Anaheim's got to get Leo Carlson signed, but then you still got to worry about, Cutter Gauthier, Beckett Seneca. Already is looking like a beast and probably only going to get better. So you got to remember, you still got to pay those guys, and you're already paying big money to Jackson Lacombe, yeah, Troy Terry, McTavish. Whereas Chicago, it's kind of Bedard, and then you've
Levshinov's
got some
looked
other guys,
decent
but
in the past few weeks, but
you don't quite got anybody that you're like, we got to be preparing to give them more than 9 million in a couple years. There's guys potentially, but from what we can see right now, not really looking that way.
yeah.
Um, so it'd be very
Well,
interesting to see
if
the
Cutter Gauthier
approaches
keeps
that.
scoring goals like this, actually, I think he might be at 10 this year already. I think he's at 9 or
Yeah,
10.
yeah. So
Um,
that's what I mean. When Adam signing Carlson, you gotta think we got all these other guys that we gotta be paying that's I think Cutter Gautier's up for an extension this year as well.
yeah, they're gonna have to find the money and find it quick. You don't want to go to William Nylander RFA territory where you're having him sit games
Yeah,
or anything. You
yeah,
you don't want to go down that road. I couldn't find
yeah.
anything
No,
about Carlson, so maybe he didn't turn down a deal. Maybe
I feel
maybe I
like
was
it was
also
Logan
thinking about
Cooley.
Cooley.
Yeah, I think so. But hey, Logan Cooley ended up getting signed at a pretty good deal, so maybe that'll be the same for Carlson, although probably not the level he's on. Like you're getting
Yeah,
paid, but makes you wonder though when we're talking about Bedard and Celebrini, are they going to make Canada for the Olympics? Are they not? People are already talking about Leo Carlson as like not even will he make Sweden, will he not? People are saying, is he their 1C?
1C. Well, you can't not bring him at this point. That is not Team
Yeah,
Canada is
like
one
he's
thing.
obviously going.
Sweden's going to be a good team. They're not a deep enough team to not bring a guy like Leo Carlson.
Well, and he was already brought for Four Nations. We know that. But what was the one thing when we were talking about Sweden? Was how fucking ass their top two centers were projected to be.
Yeah.
In terms of, when you're going up against, and I'm not saying like bad players, like still very good players they have, but when you're
No, on
comparing
the
it to
level of Team
McDavid
Canada,
and
Team USA,
McKinnon or Matthews and
Eichel,
I don't know who Eichel. Yeah,
I would assume.
um so that's kind of it. Like he very well could just be their number one center going into the Olympics, and
Probably should be. I mean,
his play right now has absolutely earned it.
who was their number one center at Four Nations? Do you even remember?
I
Like that,
think it was Zibanejad
like I was going to say,
having a
I don't even
really
remember,
down
and
year.
that's not a good sign.
Because like I know they got Joel Eriksson Ek and really good player, love watching him, but that's not a first line center at the Olympics if you're planning on winning.
Your first line center needs to be a guy who you can at least reasonably see at some point having, being in the top 10 voting odds for a Hart Trophy at the start of the year or something.
Mhm.
Like it needs to be that level of guy because you're going up against, the Crosbys, the McDavids, and all that. So
Yeah.
you have to be up with the best in the world. And right now, Leo Carlson, he's up there with the best in the world.
Yeah, he's shown that he can hang there. Absolutely.
Oh,
You're
did we
talking
have
a
that
bit
on the
about
docket to talk about the Olympics? Were we going to talk a bit more about that, or we want to save that?
I was gonna save it for later this week, I think.
Okay,
Just because between now and like later this week, there's probably not going to be much news coming out. So I
sure.
figured save that. And
Yeah, gives Bedard and Celebrini more time to rack up some points and make a stronger case for themselves.
yeah, so that'll be something fun to look forward to later this week for all of our listeners. You were talking about the different eras of players. We're talking about the youngest generation here with all these kids, the McDavids, the Kucherovs, McKinnons, and then the Crosby, Ovechkin. Even one step further, some of the other older guys above them, Joe Thornton, Duncan Keith, Zdeno Chara, Alex McGillney, Brianna Decker, Jennifer Botterill, Danielle Sauvignon, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Jack Parker. The 2025 Hockey Hall of Fame class have all officially been inducted into the Hall of Fame. So congrats, all of them. Very well deserved. Great speeches. Great weekend for them.
I saw Matthews was earlier in that day rocking a Jumbo Joe jersey.
Yeah, I could be wrong, and if I am, I would like someone to send me something. Alex McGillney, did he not show up? Or I haven't seen anything about him across the whole weekend, and maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, or I'm missing it. But
I would
every
imagine
photo I've
there,
seen,
right?
I don't see him, and I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just not seeing the right photos, but
I'm just
I
thinking
haven't
more.
really.
I'm thinking more so that surely people would be talking about it if he wasn't there, right?
Okay, never mind. I'm seeing it now. So it's just all these pictures that I've seen.
Okay,
I saw like eight photos, and it's every one. It's got all the players, and then it's in brackets. It's like, Alex McGillney not present. I'm like, why? But there is some stuff. So he was there, but maybe just missed some of the other bigger stuff. Maybe he had something else going on.
Yeah.
So never mind. He was there, just not for everything. It seems.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I would imagine that would have been a bigger thing because McGillney's one of those guys where people have been banging that drum for him to get in for a while. He's been held out through some. It definitely sounds like it's some people not liking him, some politic stuff going on. So
yeah, because I just went through like 5 different things, and it's got all these speeches and whatnot, but then nothing includes them. But then you look it up, and then it's like, okay, here it is. So I don't know if he's just getting blacklisted by certain people that just don't want to credit him, or I don't know.
I don't know.
But he was
Is
there. He was there.
was McGillney the one who got held out of the Hall of Fame for a while because he was he was like the first Russian to like defect over to the NHL? Was that him? Am I
Oh,
thinking of somebody
I can't
else?
remember off the top of my head, actually. I I couldn't tell
McGillney.
you. No clue. Pass.
uh, Setting off a string of events that would make the forward the first player to defect from the Soviet Red Army team over to North America, and become one of the most prolific offensive players in Sabres history. Okay, so I
Okay.
was thinking
Yeah.
about him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There's definitely more to the story if anyone wants to go look it up, because I mean, obviously, uh, Russia doesn't own the Hockey Hall of Fame, so like they wouldn't be mad for that reason to keep him out. But
Hmm.
I think I'm getting this story mixed up with a guy who like didn't back up Team Canada at some point. I think I'm getting those confused. I think McGillney's story is just that's a very important story for the history of hockey, and so people think that on top of his incredible play is just an extra reason he should have been in the Hall of Fame earlier. I don't think he was actually being held out specifically for anything related to that.
Hmm. But
But
yeah, congrats to the 2025 Hockey Hall of Fame class. Very well deserved.
very well
And
deserved by all of them.
yeah. Uh the New York Rangers. The New
They
York
did it.
Rangers.
They did the thing.
They actually did it. They got a win on home ice this season, and definitely helps that Vincent Trocheck is off IR now. He only played 2 games at the start of the season, has been out until then. Looked good in his first game back, and not only a win for the Rangers, but 6 goals.
Their first home win of the season.
And they have,
Oh my
I
god.
believe, they had more goals in this win than they did in all their other home games combined to start this season.
Well,
Because
so
what
they
was the
had
thing you sent me? They got shut out in 5 of their 7.
5 of their first 7 or 8, I think. I think it was 5 of their first 7. They got shut out in 5 of them. They scored 1 goal in one of them, and then they dropped 5 in one of those games against the Sharks, but the Sharks still dropped more and beat them.
Oh yeah. So they tied it with their 6 like that, but that's, I mean, the Rangers
Madison
are a
Square
wagon on the
Garden should
road.
be horrifying to play in on the road. That should be the aura of that building has never been lower. Like
Yeah.
every team wants to play there. They're hoping that they have them early on the schedule because they'll get it going later, or maybe right after this they'll be back to normal at home. But
Yeah.
like every team is hoping that they play them soon because right
Yeah, it's
now it
been
is
a free win basically
yeah,
going in there. But
which is
unfortunately, of
crazy because
course,
Shesterkin's been
Nashville.
playing well, but
Very well.
yeah, we heard that quote from Dustin Wolf a couple weeks ago that I can't go out there and generate offense. Shesterkin should have been saying something like that. Frankly, like
Yeah.
he's been playing pretty good, and what
Especially
more can he
5
do?
of your first 7 home games to get shut out is
5 of 7 out of in any context is brutal. It being at home in a place like Madison Square Garden is ludicrous.
is pretty wild, yeah.
Like that would be a brutal stat if it was 5 of your first 7 away games. Even if you played against like, if you played in Dallas, in Vegas, in Colorado, like that'd still be a bad stat. The fact that it's at home is crazy.
And then a Madison Square Garden of all places.
Were
Um,
they even a lot of good teams? Like who was shutting them out? Freaking Stuart Skinner shut him out. Shelovs with the
I
Penguins
mean,
shut him out. I think the
Ilya
Sabres
Sorokin
did.
did, but it's the Islanders, which is pretty bad.
Yeah. The
Um,
Islanders, the Penguins, I'm pretty sure the Sabres. Like
so the
those are
Islanders, the
not great teams.
Hurricanes, the
Hurricanes are good.
Canucks,
Canucks aren't great right
the
now.
Oilers, Capitals, Sabres, and Penguins. Or no, not Sabres. Sorry, the Penguins, not Sabres though.
Like that's ooh. Rangers fans
it's
right
you know
now
a
sound
3-0.
optimistic. They
Yeah, but
sound
the Penguins
optimistic
was
because
3-0.
Trocheck's back, but
Capitals was 1-0. Oilers 2-0. Canucks, that was not it. Canes 3-0. Islanders 5-0. So a lot of them, it's
they're close
Shesterkin's allowing
games.
1, 2 goals, and then there's an empty netter, and they're still losing at home.
That's got to be frustrating.
That's rough.
But you know
Rough for the
what?
Rangers.
He got his money. He fought for every penny of it to be there. So it's hard to feel too bad about it.
Yeah, well, look who's leading the league in plus minus right now. You don't have to look. I'll
Good.
tell you. It's the guy they dumped off and told him to go
Oh God,
fuck himself. Their
is it
captain, Jacob
Truba?
Trouba.
He's
Chris
also got like
Kreider,
4 goals, right?
Yeah, and Chris Kreider's almost a goal per game with the Ducks.
How many goals do they both have?
Combined?
Yeah. Which
Let's
has
see here.
more? Those two with
14
their
between the two of
goals.
them?
How many
13?
goals do those two combined have? And how many goals do the Rangers have at home all season, including this win?
13 combined between Kreider and Trouba. So
And
the two of them have the same amount of goals as the Rangers
entire
have.
Rangers do at home.
Actually, they have more. Or no, tied, yeah. No, more.
It'd be
Because
12,
what
I
did we
think.
say? Rangers had 12. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they had 6 before the other night, and now they added another 6 with the Preds.
So
Brutal.
they moved out the wrong guys.
Sure looks like it. Chris
Moved
Kreider,
out the wrong guys.
contrary to popular belief, didn't just forget how to play hockey. Still pretty good.
Yeah, like he had a down year, but it's also everyone else on the team did.
Everyone did. Yeah. Like, it felt like a strange move. I can at least see the Trouba one because of his contract and stuff.
And I mean, he wasn't
But
necessarily doing what he's doing in Anaheim with the Rangers, to be fair.
yeah.
But it's always nice seeing a guy kind of get dumped and basically told to fuck off, we don't want you, and then they go and thrive
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Very rarely, if it's ever a conflict of interest and it's player versus team, 90% of the time I'm going to side with the player because, like,
Yeah.
this several billion-dollar team doesn't need me to be rooting for them against this one guy that they gave up on.
Yeah. And the last bit of news, at least for what we got written down here, Capitals forward Pierre-Luc Dubois expected to miss 3 to 4 months with an abdominal issue. Bit of a rough start to the year for Dubois, but this is still definitely a pretty big loss for the Capitals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy still how much of a turnaround he had going to Washington. Like, we all knew he had this potential. A glimpse of it wasn't quite that in Winnipeg. In Columbus as well. It just frankly wasn't there hardly at all in LA. It felt insane that Washington was willing to give up such a good goalie, at least historically good goalie, to get him. And no, it's been incredible for him. Like, it was such
Yeah.
a solid pickup, and yeah, they're definitely going to miss him for those 3-4 months he's out.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough for the Capitals, but they've kind of built that identity of next man up, and so someone's gonna have to step up, and maybe someone will start to break out, and once they've been given a bigger role, it's always possible.
Yeah.
We got some milestones. Braden's favorite. He loves some milestones. Not much to say on them, but if you want, you can just rip us through those guys.
Yeah, so we got Kevin Fiala recording his 500th NHL point. We got Marcus Johansson skating in his 1000th NHL game. And we got John Tavares skating in his 1200th NHL game. Kevin Fiala, especially with that 500 points, how old is he? Like, he's not that old, right?
29. I don't even think he's 30 yet. Let's see here. Kevin Fiala.
Like, I think he's
29.
like 28. 28, 29? 29?
29.
Like, that's pretty solid already at 500. Like, Kevin
Pretty
Fiala,
damn good.
he's not a player that screams 1,000-point player to me, but like he's already at 500. He's kind of hitting his peak right now. He doesn't seem to be slowing down. He's not even 30 yet. He could easily produce like this for the next 4 years. You know, I'm not saying he's gonna get to 1,000, but
Yeah, might be a bit tough. He definitely would have to get out of LA because LA's only got a couple more years until
yeah,
they're gonna have to start reshaping the team. So he'll probably have to get out of there. But it's not impossible.
yeah.
It's not impossible for him. Any other news you wanted to throw
Uh,
out at all before we move into the last couple segments here?
no, I think we're good to do that. The only other thing I was just looking at it because I misremembered it a bit, but I thought that the Sharks, Ducks, and Blackhawks had all beaten the Jets in the last couple of weeks. The Jets actually beat the Blackhawks, but they did drop games 2 in a row now. Actually 3 in a row. One to the Kings, one to the Sharks, and one to the Ducks. They've only scored 2 goals in that span. They're struggling against some of these teams, but
And
they
there
got a
was
game
there's
game
once a
against the
time when
Canucks later.
there
So
was there was once a time when going through California was the toughest road trip of the year for teams, and it's starting to maybe
it's on its way
get back there.
back.
At least for Winnipeg, they're showing that it can be tough for sure.
Yeah, it's
Um,
already not easy anymore, and frankly, I think it's just going to get
yeah,
harder. Like as soon as next season, you go on that road trip and Vegas, Anaheim, San Jose. That's not fun at all for those visiting
yeah,
teams.
it's just going to slowly more and more start to get a little bit more difficult here.
Yeah, and
Um,
with the Kings, like they're not a super great team right now, but they're still a very
yeah,
annoying team to go and face at home because they get that home ice advantage and they play such a different game than most teams. Like they're so
yeah.
stingy with the puck. There's very few chances. They don't jump up into the rush very much to take their own chances so they can be that good defensively. Like you kind of have to game plan them specifically.
You really do. You got to be prepared for what you're getting into with them. It's not the same as with most teams. Even Carolina's kind of like that. You gotta game plan for them specifically because they play such a different style of hockey compared to most teams. And you're 100% right. They're not as quite as scary as they used to be, the Kings, but they'll they'll make you pay if you're not ready for what they're gonna bring.
Yeah. But I'm good. I'm good with all that news otherwise.
All that news otherwise. So we are, as we did mention, as you've heard 1,000 times from us, we are on episode 200. And with that, we have now started to come up with more segments, more ideas for what we want to bring you on a weekly basis, stuff that you can look forward to. And one of them is the weekly mock trade. So at least at once a week, at least, whether it's from Braden or myself, we will be coming out with a mock trade, and we will present it to the other person and kind of get their thoughts, their feedback, what they think about it, and kind of talk about it a bit. And for these, it is only deals that make sense.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be creating ones of Nathan McKinnon being traded for a haul. Like it's only ones that realistically could
Yeah.
happen. So I do have one here for you. I'll throw it
All
out here
right.
to you. I'll get your thoughts on it, and I'll see what you think about it. Let me just pull it up here.
I'm not
And
uh I'm not playing I'm not like playing the role of one of the GMs in particular, right? I'm just judging this as a whole, right?
yeah, well, you could for this one if you wanted to. You'll you'll see.
Okay.
Um, there's obviously more parts that would need to happen for this to happen, but this is one that realistically could happen. Again, there would have to be probably some other stuff involved, but this is what the main deal
Yeah,
would be.
some picks to even it out or something.
Or more contracts getting moved out from one side.
I see.
The New York Rangers send Artemi Panarin at 50% retained to the Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for a
Okay.
2028 first, a 2026 second, and forward Connor Geeky.
Okay.
I'll quickly throw out why this makes sense. First of all, for the Rangers, obviously rough start to the year. Panarin is starting to get up there a bit in age. The Rangers obviously are not committed to retool, really rebuild. They always want to stay competitive. Moving out Panarin, you do get a player that could be something of impact now and in the future in Connor Geekie. A second round pick, which do whatever you want with it. And then a first round pick. It is in 2028, so Rangers would probably use that in a deal to move for someone else. For the
Right.
Tampa Bay Lightning, you get a hell of a player in Panarin to add into that top six to help bolster that goal scoring, because I don't really think you need to touch the blue line a whole lot. Your bottom six is pretty good. Um, and he kind of fits the window of where Tampa's at, about 4-ish more years of going for it until they really got to start reevaluating it. And I think would be a lot of fun watching Panarin and Kucherov together. And
Yeah.
I think Panarin probably wouldn't ask for a whole lot of money if he was in Tampa, winning, having fun. And people need to remember, Panarin never did win a cup with Chicago. A lot of people think he was
Really?
there for the last one.
I definitely would have
No,
guessed he was there for the last one. He doesn't have a
no.
cup.
Panarin doesn't have a cup, so the opportunity of going to Tampa and
Oh,
going for a cup there with them, I think would definitely intrigue him as well. So I think that's a
interesting.
deal that, and again, obviously for Tampa, I think because of the money, like even Panarin only retained at 50, because again, no one can retain the other part of his contract. Tampa might need to work something out. I don't fully know, but
Yeah, because Panarin's got a big contract, right? Like I think it's like 11.6, so they definitely have to try and figure out however to move money around.
mhm.
Um, this is interesting. Does this come from somewhere? Just because I believe earlier today I saw somewhere on I think it was on the Lightning subreddit, people were talking about would we like the idea of getting Panarin.
Oh
Um,
no, I just came up with this. Yeah.
like people were talking about it like literally earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday. So, you know, um, it's a neat concept. Panarin shoots left, correct?
I, I think is he not a righty?
I am not sure. I think he's a left winger, so I'm not sure. But if
He's
he's
a
a
left
right,
winger who shoots right. So there we go.
he shoots right. Okay, so I was gonna say,
So he's yeah, like an
frankly,
Ovi.
there's very little of me that would care for this too much if he was left-handed. Just because Tampa was the high scoring team in the league last year. Like goal offense is not what we need to upgrade. Frankly, it is the defense. Um, mostly just a lot of depth. Like we don't need a superstar defenseman right now, but we need some depth, maybe some bottom line or fringe top four defensemen. That said, Panarin would really help that power play in Stamkos's spot since he's a right-handed shot, which would be huge. Um, at that point, it would also vary. It would right now our top six, like you know, five of them are bulletproof, right? You got Cooch, Point, Gensel, then you got Hagel and Sorelli, and then who's that last spot? Is it Nick Paul when he comes back from injury in a week? They've tried Bjorkstrand, it's kind of worked. They've tried Gonsalves, they've tried a ton of guys. Plenty of them have kind of worked. But if you're just constantly running Kucherov, Point, Panarin, and then Gensel, Sorelli, Hagel, that's nasty. That's
Yeah.
filthy.
And
So
to your point, because I was thinking about a defenseman, but then I'm like, say you make a move for a defenseman, who comes out of the lineup? And I know the
Edmund,
one that makes the most sense to come out, but I
yeah.
want to ask you.
Frankly, it's crazy because Hedman, Moser, McDonough, Chernak, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah,
whoever they
that's
bring
the
in,
top four.
and then frankly, uh Charles Edouard Destu. He's been so freaking good for us. I think Radish and Lilleberg are seventh D or sent down at that point. He's been
So
so
because
good
my
for
thing
us.
was once you get to playoffs, assuming you go up against Florida, you kind of need Lilleberg in there.
That's fair.
You like it.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, you can't have Hedman being the one to fight for your defenseman. You don't want it being one of your top guys. Having a bottom pair defenseman that can can be
Beat
nasty
the
and
shit out of
handle that
people. Yeah,
is kind of what you need. So I was
yeah,
like, an upgrade in defense would be nice, but at the same time, you kind of have the pieces that you're gonna need, and so
yeah,
moving them out doesn't,
yeah,
quite make as much sense. So I was like, you know what, beef up the top six for him, and
yeah.
again, kind of because if you are talking about Atlantic teams specifically, what it's kind of looking like Montreal, Toronto, Tampa is if you're making moves, you know, it's got to be moves that make sense for when you probably have to go up against Florida.
Somebody's got to beat them,
So yeah, because
and
somebody's
it,
got
you
someone in
can't
that division is going to face them. So
you can't just build for the playoffs, being like, well, hopefully Toronto beats them. You can't rest
yeah,
on that. You have
you
to
gotta you gotta
build
prepare for
yourself up to do that yourself.
if you're
So
going to be going up against them. Absolutely. So, and that's something Tampa could use is definitely having two bulletproof top lines that you can rely on, and I think
yeah,
in most cases would be very effective.
yeah. I don't know how the cap would work, but
Yeah, I don't know
ass-
on that. I'm not
assuming in the
that
hypothetical
guy.
that the money could end up working out, yeah, I really thought Panarin was a lefty, but him being a righty makes it so much more enticing. Um, if you've watched the Lightning's power play this year, you know exactly why. You know,
Yeah.
we got Kucherov roaming. He's playing like Bobby Orr. He's circling everywhere. He's going behind the net. He's going to the other side now. Sometimes he plays as the D man up top. He's everywhere because everyone knows his game on that side, and we don't have the
Mhm.
Stamkos threat anymore. So they're just guarding the hell out of Kucherov and Point in the middle. It's hard to get much
Yeah.
going with them. So adding somebody like Panarin, like, okay, cheat over to Kucha's side. Hetty's going to feed one timers to Artemi Panarin all day. You have to respect that. So that makes it a lot more interesting. So a first and a second and Geeky is a lot,
And it is
but
assuming that Panarin probably does re-sign or signs an extension,
yeah,
stick around. Like I don't think it would be a rental.
yeah. If it came with the sign and trade, say he takes, I don't know, I don't know what he would ask for, frankly, but tax-free state, look poised to win a cup. He's cup chasing. If
Maybe
he
signs
goes,
for like 2 more years at 7 mil or something.
yeah, 3 or 4 at 5 mil, maybe get a little bit of a discount for like give him that extra term. It's hard to say. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it would be best for it. Don't get me wrong. I love Connor Geeky's game. I think he's going to be so good, but we are clearly trying to win right now. Hedman's turning 35 pretty soon. Uh, Kucherov, he's 32 right now, I believe. We're definitely not done yet, but it's hard to say how soon Connor Geeky's going to come in and be a top level impact player.
Yeah. To
So
be
that's
that
very
difference
interesting.
maker that they're kind of looking for, yeah.
Yeah,
And you could I almost went with Sam O'Reilly, but I was like Connor Geeky's a little bit closer to being a full-time NHL, so that's probably what the Rangers would be
yeah,
more after. And Rangers seem to like their
yeah.
big bodies too, so.
We do have so few top level prospects. It's one of those things where I would be more willing to like overpay in other areas to not give up Geeky. Like Geeky's like our best prospect. I would be better giving up the first, the second, and our next 4 best forward prospects instead of just Geeky. Like, which I mean, there's a reason, you like the best player, obviously, right? So there's a
Mhm.
good chance the Rangers wouldn't want all those guys combined over Geeky anyway. But
Yeah.
no, that's a really good mock trade. I like that. I like that a lot. As soon as you brought it up, I was like, I saw that earlier. Is there like rumors? Is this shit going on?
I didn't know anything about that. I'm not as
There,
well, definitely not. I don't really see anything on
yeah,
Reddit as much as you, so
there's a
I
very
wouldn't.
strong chance that people are just armchair GMing at the moment. The Lightning have like
Most
6 games off or 6 days off in between games right now. So we're
likely.
we're in like miniature off season mode right now.
Yeah. But that is the weekly mock trade segment. We'll be doing that every
That's
week
good.
and be discussing potentially what we could be seeing down the line around the trade deadline or even potentially the offseason. We are into our final segment here to wrap up the 200th episode special. You got a chance to redeem yourself here at least. Didn't start off so good with two real, two fake, but we do have one more final one here to
Yeah.
run, and that is categories. Your favorite.
Categories.
You love categories. For those who don't know, for categories, this one is players. So I have five
Players.
players. Four of them fit the criteria. One does not fit in there with them. Pretty simple. It is just up to Braden and you at home to figure out who doesn't belong and why.
Yeah.
You ready for your
This one
players?
is I am. And for those at home who are listening, especially if you're watching on YouTube, um let us know in the comments as this goes, like what your thought process. Like, we've done plenty of these category games where, I think I'm like, I make a connection and it's a real connection. It's like, oh, all four of these players are American and one's Canadian. Maybe it's that the category is Americans, but then it turns out they all scored a game 7 OT winner or something. Like, they all have some other thing that I didn't even think of. So,
Hmm.
whether you get it right or wrong, like, let us know what your thought process was for it in the comments, because
And definitely
it's
is
a
tougher
very
with
interesting game.
it's tougher with the players as opposed to the teams, I feel like.
Yeah, I would say so.
Um, ready for your players?
I am.
We have Patrick Kane. We got
Kane.
Steven Stamkos. We got
All right.
John Tavares.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
We got Evgeny Malkin. And a
Got him.
player we had mentioned recently in this episode, Rick Nash.
Okay.
Those are your five players. One does not fit. You must figure out who and why.
This is a really interesting one already. Right off the gate, obviously, and especially the order you did it in. I know it's got to be on purpose. Um, Patrick Kane, first overall. Steven Stamkos, first overall. John Tavares, first overall. Evgeny Malkin, second overall. Rick Nash. I don't think he was first overall. He can't have been far. I want to say he's like third overall. I think he was top three. Uh, am I gonna have to go year by year? Stamkos, 08. 07. That was a weird one. It was like
Oh
Douglas
07.
Murray.
Oh,
Douglas
oh, oh
Murray or
07
something. No.
was 07 was Kane.
07 was Kane. 06.
Oh
Was that
06
the
was
weird
the
one?
weird one. That was Eric Johnson that year.
Eric Johnson. I knew it was some defense. I was gonna say Eric Brewer. Holy shit.
We just did say Douglas fucking Murray.
Yeah.
So
I could have taken Douglas Murray
what was
first
his
overall.
nickname? Crankshaft, I think it was. I think
Yeah, I
that's
wonder
what
how
Joe
you get.
Thornton said his nickname was.
Jeez, I wonder how you get a nickname like that. When Jumbo Joe gives you that nickname, you're doing something weird.
Or you're just a beauty,
That's
either way.
06. 05, obviously Crosby. Do they count it as 04 draft? Did they still do the draft normally, even though there
Yep.
was no year? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So
sure
before
did.
that, then it was OV and Malkin was second. 2003, there's a lot of phenomenal players that year. Was that the Fleury year? I think it was. I think they took Fleury, then Malkin, then Crosby. I don't even know what year Rick Nash was drafted, frankly. I don't know if he's a first
Rick,
overall
Rick,
and that's
Rick
it.
Nash was 2002.
2002. He might have been. He might have been. So it could be Malkin being the odd man out, not being a first overall pick. Um, Patrick Kane and Art Ross. I think he also won a Hart. I think he also won the Hart. Stamkos has 2 Rockets. No Art Ross, no Hart. Tavares, no Hart. I don't think a Rocket and Jamie Benn beat him out for the Art Ross, so I don't think he has any awards. Evgeny Malkin, he's got, I think, 2 Hart trophies, or like a Hart and 2 Art Rosses or something. Rick Nash, I believe, has at least 1 Rocket. So maybe it's just John Tavares has no individual trophies.
No individual trophies.
I don't believe he has any, and the rest of them definitely do. Um, there is also, I don't. I always think of Rick Nash as a Columbus Blue Jacket, but he did not spend he spent a long time there, but not his whole career. He was with the Rangers for a bit.
Do you know who was part of that deal that sent him to the Rangers?
Oh, Nikita Volkov. Son of a bitch. Kane has 3 cups. Stamkos has 2. Malkin has 3. I don't know if Nash ever won one. If he won multiple. Like, did Rick Nash end up with LA at some point and like win 2 cups? Like, is that it? Tavares has no cups and everyone else has multiple? Or is it John Tavares not having individual awards? Or maybe Rick Nash is a first overall pick. If that's one that like I would from a distance expect me to know. Like being first overall picks, that kind of thing. That's stuff that I generally do know. I'm kind of surprised that I can't think of who would be first overall before 2003. So if that's because usually you make them fairly difficult. So like if it's something that easy and I don't know it, that's crazy work from you.
This is your
Stamkos
redemption moment here after the start of
Stamkos
this
is a
episode.
captain.
So
Oh, you son of a bitch! I've got you. Do I have you? Oh, I don't know if I have you. Stamkos is a
you
captain
know,
in Tampa, and then he left. John Tavares was captain on Long Island, and then he left. Rick Nash, I kind of have to assume was captain. Who the hell else would have been in Columbus? And eventually was traded for Volkov 1-for-1. Patrick Kane did. I'm pretty sure he stuck around longer than Taves. Did they give him the captaincy for the little bit before he left? I don't know. Malkin has never left Pittsburgh, and he also plays behind Crosby, so he's never been captain.
I'm
So
gonna
are
have
the
to
rest?
push you for an answer here.
I've got like 3 or 4. Like this is why I want if you're still listening, like put it in the comments. Like let me know what your thought process is because like I've got like 4 different things that I've already brought up that seem like legit answers.
And the thing is when I create it, I'm so focused on what I'm building it around that I don't focus on all these other ones that you bring up. So as you're talking, I'm
Exactly.
like, oh shit, okay, there's this,
Yeah.
there's a couple.
Well, was Patrick Kane? Did they give him the C for a little bit? Frank, if they didn't, they frankly should have. Like he was the heart and soul for a long time there. Is it? Did Rick Nash win a cup? Is it cup winners? Individual awards? I almost feel like I have to go with individual awards just because that's the only one where I don't have 3 people and then a question mark. I know for a
Mm-hmm.
fact that Kane, Stamkos, Malkin, Nash all have trophies. That's the only one that I know for sure is
It's one that
true. I
you
don't
like
know if it's
know
what
for
you've
sure, yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it's what you picked. So, yeah. I'm I'm going to lock in John especially since for at least 2 of them John Tavares is my odd man out. So, I am going to say John Tavares is the odd man out. And I'm going to say it's because he does not have any individual hardware
Individual awards.
at the NHL level.
So you
I don't know what he
struggled
did in juniors.
earlier in the episode on Two Real, Two Fake. The game that you usually do the best in, you went 0 for
Yeah.
4, 0% on that one. And then I figured, hey, let's end the episode off with the one you struggle with the most categories, the one you've never fully beaten. You've got 50% a couple of times, but you've never quite fully beaten this game. So
Yeah.
you are locking in John Tavares is the odd player out, and because he does
I do
not
usually also
hold,
get a hint for this one, but I've already locked in.
yeah,
So, you know what? I'm gonna stave off the hint, and I'm gonna say go for the bonus cool guy points of not using one.
Not using it. So you're locking in John Tavares because he does not have an individual award.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you did end up asking for a hint, I would have just said go with what you know. And you went with the one that you know. You got it correct. 100%.
Yeah.
It was John Tavares, the odd player out, as he does not have an individual award. And to clarify things up for you, Rick Nash was a first overall pick in
He
2002.
was.
Patrick Kane did not get the C. He was actually gone before Taves. Taves stuck
Really?
around
He
a
left
bit
first.
longer. And well, they traded Kane because he had value and Taves was
True.
going down with the ship. And Rick Nash did not win a cup. No.
Okay.
So if you went with any of the other options, you would have been wrong. So good on you for going
Well,
with
the Mulk. If
with
I
what you
went with
know.
Malkin as not a first overall pick, that one would
Well,
have at
that
least
one, yes,
at
but you
least
didn't
would have been
know.
correct.
You weren't for sure that Rick
Yeah.
Nash was first overall. You
Yeah.
were. So you went with the one that you knew for sure, at least in that. That got you there, 100%. So that brings you up to a 50% average on the episode, at least. So I think
I'll take
it's
it.
passing. It's a passing grade, at least.
And especially for the win on category, because even though I do the worst at it, I think categories might be one of my favorites that we do. Like just because of there's so many avenues you can go over with it.
Yeah.
But despite losing at it, so it feels good to get that one.
And I enjoy it because again, yeah, like I based it around, what it was, John Tavares, not in the awards. But then you listed off so many, I'm like, shit, yeah, there's a couple of actually that can work for it, right? So
Yeah.
it's tough. It's a lot of thinking for you, and it's a lot of learning for me of like, damn, all these other ones are
Yeah.
here.
Did you purposefully make it a bunch of first overall picks? There's no way you didn't recognize that you were doing that.
Well, so I kind of did. It's so tough because you get into what you're building it around, and then I had a bunch of other guys, but I'm like, well, shit. Now it's just John Tavares is the only one on here that doesn't have a cup. So I had to try and find someone that had an individual award that would maybe be a bit tricky, but didn't have a cup. And I
Right.
also kind of wanted it to be guys that are all kind of in that same era, like
Same era.
I just didn't want to throw in like, Connor McDavid or
Yeah.
I
You
just like
maybe
I
could
wanted
have
guys that are all
done a
kind of
Jamie Benn. He still would have been a captain. It still would have been confusing. But
yeah. I was thinking James, but I didn't want to put it so
No.
close of being like he's the reason Tavares.
he's
doesn't
also
have
the
an
one who
individual
beat him
award.
for it. So yeah.
Yeah, he stole it from him. But that is it for this episode number 200. Let us know what you guys thought of the episode. Again, we're trying to do more segment based stuff throughout the episodes, kind of give it more of a nice outline, nice shape. So you can let us know your thoughts on that. Yeah, Sharks are 500 for the first time in over 3 years. First time on the podcast. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty good feeling.
Hopefully they
we
stay
all
there.
have weekly mock trades once a week. We have a couple other segments that we will be introducing throughout the next bit. We got some ones we haven't unveiled yet, so you'll get to keep an eye on for those ones. But we'll be talking Olympics later this week, so you can look forward to that. But that is it for this episode. Braden, for the 200th time, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. It's been a lot of fun doing this podcast with you, Brundy, doing these 200 episodes. And
no ass kissing around here.
Yeah. Slip the tongue a little
bit.
I
appreciate it.
It's been a good time, and you know what? Here's to another 200. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see how long we can
go until the wheels fall off. Till we maybe get canceled. That's
as we do.
It's always a possibility nowadays. So, and we embrace it. We look forward to it.
You gotta blow up. You gotta blow up to some level of popularity before getting canceled, right?
Yeah.
So that's that there's always something there. There's always something to strive for.
But yeah, I think that's it for this episode. Again, let us know your thoughts on this. Anything you want to see, anything we didn't discuss, or hey, we're always open ideas. If you have any segments that you want to see introduced or see more frequently, you can be sure to let us know, because we do got a lot. But if there's one specifically that you like, we'll run it. We'll run it more often. Why not? We'll make it work.
Do what the people ask.
Yeah. That's it for this episode. Thank you everybody for tuning in to episode number 200. And as always, we will see all of you beautiful people out on the ice later this week.